Hey Dreamers, Bryce here from Midnight Notion, singer-songwriter, musician, and a big fan of Metallica. I spent 115 days grading every single song in their entire catalog so far, and I still have a few ties to break. So today we're going to break the tie for 17th place. Let's do this thing. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Blackened versus That Was Just Your Life. This is going to be a toughie because they're both very thrashy songs, very similar, riffy, hard to play, fast to play songs. So how do we grade them? Using the following criteria. Structure, flow, melody, engagement, and lyrics. I'm still getting used to this process, but that's what we're doing here. Only one can win each round, so let's get straight into it, but make sure you hit that subscribe button first, because when you hit that subscribe button, everything in your world becomes a cartoon, and that's pretty exciting. Let's do this thing! Whoosh. Round one, structure. For Blackened, we have the nice reversed guitar intro, very intriguing, very interesting. Sounds like normal guitars, but they are reversed. And then we get the classic 7/4 main riff, very fast and in an odd time signature, not normal at all. We've got a verse, which actually starts with a riff version of this. It's just the riff without the vocals, but then we get the vocals later on. So same riff, same section. Then we've got the main riff again, very shortly before the chorus, where we color our world blackened back into the main riff 7/4 again, back into another verse. The verses are, I believe, in 6/4, and then we go back to the main riff again shortly into the next chorus, and then we've got a nice bridge to break the flow, give us a chance to give some hey, 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 and to also start singing along with the bridge verse. Now we have a call and response with each word, and then we have return to just the bridge, just the riff, a little breakdown in between because there's another bridge verse. And then we have what I'm going to call the build-up. This section is alternating. It's a mixed meter. It goes from 6/4 to 7/4 every other measure. And I find that really fascinating until we get to the solo, which goes all over the place. We have a bunch of brand new riffs. We have the chorus riff. We have some similar to the main riffs, but it changes enough. And the solo ends with a weird version of the main riff where the drums are offset just slightly. So the drums are playing on the wrong beat. And then when we come through another time, he resets it and he's playing on the right beat. But it's very awkward to play this. They don't even do this section live. And then we're back into a verse. We have the main riff again. We have our final chorus, which is slightly extended because of the extra lines at the end. And then a quick version of the main riff, and we are done. Quick, simple, easy. Let's take away the riffs and see what we got. It's verse, chorus, chorus, bridge, and verse, chorus. So again, A, B, A, B, C, A, B. Ab, ab, cab. Very similar structure to almost every song. The only difference here, if you're looking at structure, to get away from that same structure, you have to look at the time signature changes and the tempo changes. And we do indeed have that with the switch between 7/4 to 6/4 to those weird odd tempo or odd time signature changes throughout that kind of jump us on the wrong number. It's a very awkward song, but it's a unique structure. Let's take a look at That Was Just Your Life. We have an intro, very intriguing little thumping of the heartbeat with some clean guitar. The bass gradually adds in, the lead guitar gradually adds in. And then we've got this main riff, which is very similar to kind of a throwback to Puppets or Creeping Death. Then we've got this new riff. I'm just calling it new riff, but it is going to come back multiple times. We've got the verse, which is essentially the main riff with singing over it. Then back to that new riff. So we see the new riff is sort of bookending the verses here. We have the pre-chorus, right, with just little fun little stops throughout this part. And then we've got the full chorus with the full chords, a lot of movement, a lot of heavy hitting here. We've got that main riff again, followed by the new riff once more with the verse. And again, it's bookended with that new riff. Back to the pre-chorus, the chorus again, and then we have, I'm going to call this the bridge. It's a fun little riff. It's one of my favorite riffs from this entire record, so really fun. Then we've got a solo. Then we've got the bridge verse, right? This is almost I think this is the same riff as the regular verses, but because it's sang differently, we're gonna call it a bridge verse. Then we've got that same bridge riff again, with a little bit of an alteration. It's not quite as long the second time. We've got that new riff, which leads into a dueling solo, right? A little harmonized solo. And back to that bridge riff once more, but this time with a little lick on the end. Now we've got the main riff one more time, the chorus, which is also notably different this last time. The drums are playing different, we got double kick pedal, and also the chord progression changes slightly. If you count it as 4 chords or whatever, the 4th chord is going to be a different chord each time than it was before. So very interesting. And then we end it with that main riff, and that was just your life. Again, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Similar structure. A, B, A, B, C, B. As I've been saying over and over and over again, when you have a very similar structure at its core, that's when you start expanding out, right? You can always look at a song, oh, they have 20 riffs in this song, and they only have 2 riffs in this song. Well, if you grade it that way, you're gonna always favor the longer song, and you can't really do that. You have to look at it all as a big unit and match the larger unit with the other, larger, the whole you have to look at it from the whole perspective. And in my opinion, they both have a lot of really cool, fun, interesting riffs, but as far as a songwriting structure goes, the interest goes to the one with the most creative uses of time. And in that case, the winner structurally for all the time signature changes is Blackened. Round 2, flow. Now, once again, it's a completely different story. You can have a really cool, complex, lots of time signature changes type song. Yes, really cool, but how do they flow together? And admittedly, with Blackened, once we get out of that solo, and even before it, sometimes if you don't know how to count, if you don't know that it's in 7/4, you often predict that you're gonna land your head on the beat, and you just happen to be a couple beats off. It is very difficult as a first-time listener, as a multiple-times listener, to find where the beat is in that song. It can be really off-putting to an audience person who doesn't understand rhythm. So for that fact alone, and the fact that that was just your life, it stays in that 4/4 and is very easy to bob to all the way through. The winner of this round, that was just your life. Round 3, melody. Unfortunately with this, every album that comes before the Black Album is going to have a major disadvantage because 1, they have drastically improved in songwriting and vocal ability over time. So when you look at these songs side by side, Blackened is the end, it suffers the same fate as almost everything from their first 4 records. Very, very standard, like linear singing. He doesn't really explore his range that much. He goes, da-da, he kind of climbs up at the end of never. But we also have, and that was just your life, has a very similar end to every verse, right? I deny. It's almost the same notes. If you look at them side by side, they end very similarly. So that said, you got to look at the pre-choruses and the choruses. Fire to begin with the dance of the dead. Blackened is the end. It's very short. I blind my eyes and try to force it all into a place. He goes really high up, all into a place. I open just in time to say goodbye. He's using his range, and that was just your life. He's going much further. Let's talk about the other parts of melody, because vocals isn't the only part. That's a very catchy melody. And also that buildup, that weird mixed meter section right before the solo in Blackened has a very catchy melody to it. Really cool. But then you have That Was Just Your Life. It's got a really sing-songy intro with that clean guitar. You've got in Blackened, you've got the really cool riff. But then you've got the main riff of That Was Just Your Life. It's a very similar structure altogether. So unfortunately, the tiebreaker has to go to the vocal performance. I'm sorry to the old songs, but the winner of melody, That Was Just Your Life. Round 4, engagement. Unfortunately, due to the speed of both of these songs, it's very hard to grapple to grab onto any of the lyrics the first time through. If you're a new listener, you haven't memorized the lyrics, you don't have the lyrics in front of you, it's very hard for you to get any of the lyrics of either of these songs because it's very da 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 da. They come at you so quickly. How can you remember anything? Luckily, both of them end their choruses with a tagline, right? There's a nice pause, but almost like your life, okay? Almost like your life. That was just your life. I'll be able to hear it. I'll be able to pick up on it at the end of the song, but it's going to take a little while. What about Blackened? Color our world blackened. It's a very trippy line. Like it's really, it doesn't flow off the tongue, right? Color our world black, color our world blackened. There's a lot of like, you have to do some really like physical gymnastics with your mouth gymnastics to say that. As a matter of fact, for most of my life, I thought the line was, come on, we're blackened. And I didn't really understand that. I thought maybe it was pushing some boundaries into some pretty offensive remarks. But here, as it turns out, color our world blackened. It makes a lot more sense, but it doesn't flow out of the mouth that well. So where is the engagement? The engagement comes probably, I would argue, for both of these songs, since it's not going to be in the lyrics, it's going to be in the opportunities to hey, 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 along with the music. And what song does that better out of these two than boom, 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 da 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 da. We even have a call and response. Opposition, opposition. I don't know the order, but I know that I can wait for James to say it. And even if you're seeing this for the first time, it only takes 2 or 3 lines before you realize you can just repeat whatever they just said and it will work out. So, audience engagement, this round, Blackened. Round 5, lyrics. Let's take a look at Blackened first. I always go release order, and Blackened came out well before. We've got Hetfield, Ulrich, and Newsted on this one. If I'm not mistaken, he helped with the bass, with the main riff. I think that's his. Let's take a look at these lyrics. Blackened is the end. Winter it will send, throwing all you see into obscurity. We've got an AABB rhyme scheme. Earth, birth, and mend. AABB. And a nice line at the end. Never. Fire to begin whipping Dance of the Dead. Blackened is the end. To begin whipping Dance of the Dead. Color our world blackened. Now, my biggest gripe with this song is that it doesn't make sense in my opinion. To begin whipping Dance of the Dead. Now, is the fire going to begin whipping and Dance of the Dead is a separate like note? Or is the fire going to whip the Dance of the Dead? Or like what does this mean? Somebody tell me what this means, because to me, I think if I was writing this, if I was trying to dig deeper, I would say that fire is just a list. Like we're talking about the end of the world, the apocalypse, right? Fire. You can just state words without any, this is just the subject. It's a full stop. This is the entire sentence. All right. And then to begin whipping, I think makes more sense with fire. Fire is going to start whipping around, right? I'm imagining the fire sticks from Super Mario Brothers, right? The fire is going to begin whipping, all right? And then Dance of the Dead is just another separate subject to me. Like the Dance of the Dead, like the zombies are going to rise from the ground. They're going to dance around. Maybe the fire is whipping I don't know. It's like, is the fire going to be the beat that the dead are dancing to? This whole line is so confusing and so just off-putting in my opinion. If I was just reading these lyrics, you're not listening to the words or you're not listening to the music at all. You're just reading. Everything makes sense. Blackened is the end, right? Winter it will send. We're talking about nuclear winter potentially, throwing everything into obscurity. The Mother Earth is dead. It's never coming back. Never, never, ever. We talked about this with Through the Never. They're really emphasizing it's never, ever coming back, ever. Then we get this line, and what the hell are we talking about? The second verse really just emphasizes the same stuff as the first verse, which is more context. We're going to blister the earth. It's not worth anything, and kills anything that could have happened. Everything is, again, frigid chill. We have winter once again. Nothing left to kill because everything is gone. Never seen before, breathing ever, nevermore. Never, 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 never. See, this song, again, bringing back to our new vocab word, adnomination, the literary device which creates a certain sound and effect in text by repeating words with the same root word or the echoing of a sound of one word in another in the same sentence. But in short, what that means is never, ever, ever is just furthering the point by using adnomination. We're really emphasizing the point that this isn't possible ever again, ever, ever, ever. All right. So the lines, the language is very colorful in the verse. We have some big words: opposition, contradiction, premonition, compromise. This is really cool. A, B, and then A, B. Really cool setup for this section. And then we have a tease. We've set up a rule of fours, right? We have four, and then we have darkest color, blistered earth, true death of life, and there's nothing there, right? We've set the expectation with 4, and we break it with 3. Pattern break. Breaking patterns makes things interesting. So try it out. Ultimately, lots of really cool words in this song, but that chorus is really super off-putting to me. Let's take a look at That Was Just Your Life. This is the song that has so many words. It's hard to, even James himself screwed it up when I saw them live. And here's another formatting mistake. I have my screen as wide as it can go, and for some reason they've decided to put a scroll bar at the bottom. You can see the scroll bar here just to fit all the lyrics in there. Because of the way this is formatted. In my opinion, you could make this section a little thinner and focus on the lyrics, or maybe even make the whole page a little bit wider. But we're not here talking about web design, are we? Let's take a look at the words. This is really just one line, right? It's split in the written version, like a siren in my head that always. But we know that that's not how it goes. We know that this is all one. Like a siren in my head that always threatens to repeat. Like a blind man that is trapped into the speeding driver's seat. All right, so that's AA, like a face, learn to speak, when all it knew was how to bite. This is kind of a structure, a similar structure to a limerick, right? Da-da-da-da-da, A, da-da-da-da-da, A. Short line, then a longer line, that's A again. But the difference here from this and a limerick is that we have repeat and seat is AA, and then B, and then a slant rhyme to A. Speak is kind of like repeat. And then bite is a C. This is a brand new word, right? Then we have focused though I go on astray, that I awaken from each day, conviction, premonition, deny. All right? So deny is actually the rhyme to bite. All I knew was how to bite. I deny. He's using that E as the rhyme scheme, right? We have that same thing in the second verse as well. When I want the world to die, starting. Oh, we don't actually have it. Start again. Okay, so it's on its own. I stand corrected. I was wrong. You were right. You knew it all along, and I didn't. I thought I knew everything, and I don't. Wow. Newsflash. Very cool structure, though. A very bold choice to take the end of the line, the end of the I don't know if this isn't a quatrain because it's more than 4, but the end of your stanza, to end it with a word that doesn't rhyme with a previous word is kind of bold, but it works because he actually repeats it. I guess I deny is twice, but start again is twice. But I don't know, it stands out. It's very unique. It somehow still feels like it rhymes, even though it doesn't. Isn't that strange? It's because how much time has passed since this line, we've already forgotten what the rhyme is, so they could really get away with anything. Excellent work. We have a lot of stuff about covering your eyes, blinding my eyes, forcing it all into a place, right? I'm trying to stitch up my eyes so that I don't have to see myself falling from grace, all right? I hide and I feel it passing me by, and then I open just in time to say goodbye. So this person has covered their eyes from all of the problems, and they're wishing them away, and as soon as they open, they are back to haunt them. This is a very sad song, really. And this is just another example of why addiction is so bad and so hard on so many. When you fall to this sort of lifestyle, this is what happens. You try to run from it, and it just... You hide, but will be found, right? I know that's a different song, but that's really what we're seeing here. Now, these words, we don't have a lot of large words in this song, maybe. We have mostly similes, all right? Like a wound, like a raging river, like a release from a prison, right? This is all similes, like a this, like a that. There are all these examples, and we have a general that doesn't have a mission. We have a blind person that can't see in the driver's seat. How scary is that? These are all just really unfortunate situations described. And think of the worst pain that you can possibly imagine. I am experiencing something similar to that, is what the singer is trying to say. In this case, obviously, James Hetfield. So really unfortunate situation happening here. And then we try to get away with it, but we just can't get out there. That was just your life. It's over. I highlighted the wrong section, but there it is. It ends with that was just your life. All the way through, we get, and there it went, almost like your life. And then not until the end do we introduce the title. That was just your life. And what a poignant end. It's almost like they could have just said that was just your life 3 times. At every single chorus ended with that was just your life. But instead, almost like your life. And then at the very end, it's over. This is like signifying the end of the song. And I think that that's really beautiful. So let's take a couple steps back. What are these songs really about? We have one song that is about the apocalypse, and it contains a list of items that are going to happen. Winter's end, the earth will never come back, or it never rebirth, right? Death of Mother Earth, all that stuff. It's just a long list of all the things that will happen. Then we have a song about someone hiding from their problems, and it's a list of things that it feels like. So again, both songs aren't really saying a whole lot. They're just expanding on one small common idea. One idea being apocalypse, one idea being hide from the problems. But both of them, again, like I said, just expanding on one idea. It's not a story, it's a list. It's a grocery list of things that relate to one idea. And that makes it really difficult to judge the two. So then I have to start looking at word choice. Which one uses bigger words or more colorful language? Well, while Blackened uses more colorful language, I think that that was just your life happens to tell like a more poignant, it gives a more interesting point, a more realistic point. One is fantasy and one is real life. Real people are dealing with real problems and trying to hide from them. This is a real scenario. Apocalypse is, it's not fictional, but also we haven't experienced it, so we can't really connect to it the same way. Okay, well, if you put that aside, what about the words themselves? I talked recently about using lyrics that go from consonant to vowel to consonant to vowel. When a word ends with a hard letter, like a T, your next letter might be better suited as an O or any vowel because it's a little bit softer. Because T to a hard letter to a soft letter flows much better. So when I read these lyrics out, both of them have tongue twisters in them. But the most important point of the song, the hook of the song, the memorable moment, the chorus matters so much. And when you compare the two choruses, one of them is really difficult to know what it is unless you read the lyrics because it comes out so clunky in the audio recording, and the other flows very simply, very smoothly. I'm sorry, but lyrically for this one, just for the use of using words that flow together well, that was just your life. And so with a score of 3-2, that was just your life, barely inches over Blackened. I'm surprised myself. I like these songs equally, but when you look at them analytically, and you pull everything apart, this is just how it fell in my opinion. So now you tell me what your opinion is. How did I do? Did I score them right? Did I get it wrong? Don't tell me I'm wrong though, because it's my opinion, not yours. You just tell me your opinion and you be kind about it in the comments below. Share it with the friends below. Make sure you check out my music. Midnight Notion is available all over the internet, and you can check out my time signature changes as well. You can find them in songs like Poisonous Love or Sidewalk, or of course The Lone Wolf is a big one. A lot of changes in that one. So maybe you can let me know what you think of my time signature changes. And then of course smash that subscribe button, because tomorrow we're fighting for 15th place between Until It Sleeps and the Judas Kiss. when I don't think there's two different songs, more different songs than that. But we're going to find out what happens. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. You're awesome.